Hey, what's up, Stringlings? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Vangoa PD-M powered pedalboard. Let's check it out. Earlier this month, Vangoa reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in checking out their powered pedalboard. This is one of a kind of a series that Vangoa is doing, and it includes a few different sizes and scales. This one is sort of the larger of the bunch, and it's really great looking pedalboard. I'm gonna unpack the thing right now. So let's start with the packaging itself. First of all, I have to say I am really impressed with the quality of this carrying case. It doesn't have a shoulder strap. What it does have is backpack straps, which is, cool if that's, I guess if you're going gig to gig or whatever, it's handy to have the backpack straps. To me, I wouldn't mind a shoulder strap, but there's just tons of space in this thing as it is. So, even just having the handle is fine. It's got a little bit of weight to it, and I don't have any pedals on this board yet. But there is a pocket in the front, which covers the entire front, so you can get some books or cables or whatever in there. On the inside part back here, there is a strap. This actually I have seen used, for example, on a rolling case. You can put the handle through here, as well as a pocket for your iPad. If you're bringing an iPad or a laptop with you to a gig or a rehearsal, this is a great option to have. The padding on this thing is amazing. This feels like a really high quality case. It's got these little feet on the bottom for resting, which is, again, very cool. And this shiny bit is really just for style. But what's inside the bag is what we're here for. So let's just get this guy open and you'll see. So for starters, we have an info sheet. Now this info sheet is on how to set up the sequence for the LEDs, which I'll explain in a little bit. But it gives you a few different ways to connect the LEDs on the pedalboard itself, which is a very cool feature. It's a very fun feature. I haven't plugged this in yet, so I haven't really seen it in operation, but we're going to try a few different configurations later on as we go. This case includes the 4 strips of hook and loop that you need for mounting your pedals. And if you'll recall from previous videos, one of my tricks with putting the Velcro part on the pedal itself, we put the hook part, the hard plastic part, on the pedal, but I use gaffer tape on the bottom so that it's easy to remove if you want to change pedals or whatever later on. So that's one little trick. It does have a manual. I have gone through the user manual. It doesn't give you a lot except to kind of tell you what the connections are and a lot of safety and precautions and things like that, which is always a good idea when you're working with anything electric. There are all of the connector cables that you need in 2 different lengths. You can see this is probably 3-ish inches and this is probably 8, I don't know, maybe 10 inches. I haven't measured them, but there's 2 different sizes because the real magic happens on this board. On the inside, there is a plug, obviously, power adapter. Now, cat hair in my nose. The packaging does come with this big foam block on it that everything was fitted into. You can't keep this in here if you have pedals on the board. There just isn't room for it. Okay. And there's another pouch inside here, as well as let's take this out for a second. As well as straps for strapping your pedal board down when you put it in the backpack mode so that it's, relatively secure. All in all, and this is fairly thick padding. It's probably, I don't want to say half, maybe 1/4 inch, 5/8 padding. It's very well protected. I like this case a lot, actually. Okay, now here is the board itself. As you can see, it's large-ish, right? It has enough room, I would say, for probably, I'm going to guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 10 standard sized pedals, a few more smaller pedals, obviously fewer large pedals. I wouldn't put a wah pedal on here just because of the amount of real estate that it needs, but let's take a look at some of the features on this guy, because I think where you're going to find this one is kind of set apart from some of the others in this price range. First of all, very solid aircraft aluminum. It's lightweight. I don't like it too lightweight. It is heavy because the power unit is here. I don't like it too lightweight or you're chasing it around the floor, but it does have rubber feet, as well as these little flip out feet for, you know, a deeper angle, as you can see. Okay. Now, what really sets this apart is that you've got your power supply built into the board. Yeah, it's not, I asked, it's not user serviceable, so if anything goes wrong with the power supply, you know, you've got to contact the company for warranty services. But from what I've seen in other reviews, and we're going to test it as well, it's pretty stable. These are isolated power supplies. So each power supply is fully isolated. It's nice and quiet. It has 10 9-volt connections. Okay. All at 300 milliamps a piece. So if you've got pedals that are over 300 milliamps in power requirement, you could run into some hiccups here and there. Not a big deal, obviously, because you can daisy chain some of these into other blocks, but basically you've got 300 milliamps. That's more than enough for most pedals. Any of the mini pedals, most standard pedals are fine. Preamp pedals and power amp pedals, vintage style choruses, that kind of thing, tend to need more power, obviously. Any kind of a looper switcher situation, you're going to need more power. So anything like that, modeling amps, that kind of thing, they typically need closer to the 450, 500 milliamps, but for most pedals that you're going to use on a board of this nature, 300 milliamps is lots. Okay, it's also got some bonus connections here. There's one for a 12 volt connection at 500 milliamps and one 18 volt connection at 500 milliamps as well. So if you've got some of those larger pedals, you may very well be able to connect them on here. And we are going to do a test on this, obviously. It has its own power switch, which is nice because you can kind of master kill the entire thing. Power goes in here, and then it has an in-out connection on this end. And this is something that I think is really interesting, because what it means is you can literally rig up your pedal board and then just plug your guitar in and it's ready to go. The configuration of how these LEDs flash in time with the music is what this sheet over here is for, right? So it gives you 3 possible connections. So whether the guitar is going into the board or into the first pedal, or through some kind of a loop, there are 3 different ways that you can connect it, and so the lights will react depending on whether they're responding to what's coming from the last pedal or from the guitar itself. A couple of different ways, obviously, that you can do that. Another trick, and I haven't seen anybody do this, but you know that I am a big fan of using modulation and time-based effects in the effects loop on the amp. So what you can do, and what I will probably do at some point in the future, certainly if I use this in one of my live rigs, is have my main signal chain from the guitar to the amp bypass these in and outs, but use these in and outs to mount my effects loop onto this board as well. So my reverb delay chorus would go on this board and through the effects loop on the amp, which is another way that you could use this, because you can route anything you want really through the in and out on here, as you know, whatever sort of loops you want to set up, and it'll still respond with the lights on here. And it has actually a little a little pot knob down here, a little potentiometer. I don't know if you can see down here. For controlling the lights as well. So if you've got something plugged in, you can plug in sort of a dummy cable or something and use that to turn the lights off if you don't want them on there. I think it's kind of a cool feature though that could be add just a little bit of visual interest to the stage show. So we're going to put some time in, set this thing up, and see how it sounds, see how it plays. I suspect it's going to be very impressive. Okay guys, so I just wanted to switch to the phone mic for 1 second here, just for this overhead shot, and we'll look at some other aspects and features of this once we get the couple of pedals on here. But right now I just wanted to say, I just put the hook and loop on here, and it's very strong. This is the hook part, and it's pretty solid. Normally with professional boards I use dual lock, but oftentimes when we're doing something a little bit quicker, a little bit less expensive, we'll go with hook and loop. But this is a very good quality hook and loop, so I'm pretty impressed with this. For the demo, I'm probably, let me just grab something. For the demo, I will probably just lay them flat without locking them down, but you can see how much space there is on this board. I guess you could conceivably put a few rows, but yeah, I mean this is a standard size pedal, so there's lots of room on here. But one thing I wanted to show you is the lights, because they're reactive to whatever happens. The in and out jacks are over here. I've got the board turned off right now, but if I turn it on, you can see the lights, and they actually have like a microphone set up. So the pot down here, the potentiometer down here actually controls how the lights flash. So this right now is just picking up the room sound, and it's really just my voice, which I think is very cool. That's a very cool feature. So if you don't have anything plugged in, it will just react to whatever the sound is in the room, which again, very cool. If your band is playing or you're playing, you'll have this little kind of flashing light show, but you can turn it off, I believe, just by, okay, so just by doing that and just leaving it blank. So you can leave a blank one in there just to turn it off, or you can turn this all the way down and it won't react to that sound at all. So that's just one of the cool features. And like I said, I'm going to put a few pedals on here. Right now I have it lying flat just for the angle on the camera. You can pick this up obviously. I'm going to put a few pedals on here, and we'll just see how the power supply itself sounds. Okay, so I've gone to the overhead. It's taking up quite a bit of desk space. You'll recall I mentioned a little bit about that. Maybe I didn't, but desk space is definitely an issue in this studio, so bear with me a little bit. But basically what we're going to do is a little bit of a sound test, and you can see as I'm speaking, I don't have anything here running through the loop on the pedal board at the moment. I've got a Shoneswood Mean Prick overdrive. I've got the Matero Cuchillo distortion. This is a very cool kind of plexi style or Marshall style distortion, and the Flamma Echo Verb, just to give a little bit of reverb effect. I'm playing on a Donner DMT 100 into ML Sound Labs Gemini on the clean channel. The clean just sounds like this. Okay, and you can see as I'm playing, the LEDs are lighting up based on the room sound. And and fairly sensitive as well. So, you know, I would assume that if there's a lot of speaker action, lots of stage monitors or big amps or something like that, we'd be redlining quite a bit. You can see there every once in a while it does pop all the way up. So it does go all the way up. So the reason I set this up is because I wanted to give you a sense of what it sounds like from the perspective of putting some gain through it. And the mean prick is quite a nasty, snarly kind of gain. And you will hear some hiss, but it's not coming from the lines, which is quite nice. And somebody's doing some work next door, that's okay. Right. So there's that hiss, but that's not out of line for this pedal. Right, that's got a lot of grind to it. Just take the drive back a little bit. You know, and it sounds as you would expect with a lot of distortion. This one is actually distortion, so we get some hum from it. Okay. Just out of curiosity. Whoa! I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of gain. Okay, and some of this, remember, is also kind of line noise from the room. But as compared to some of the other kind of budget model power supplies that we're using, actually not all that bad. We'll throw a little bit of reverb on. Some more of that blend in there. I love these shimmer reverbs. Put on some delay. So what you're getting in terms of the noise floor is coming from all of this gain. The reason, again, that I wanted to use gain pedals for this test was just to demo how much or how little additional line noise was actually coming through the power supply, and it's not any different than I get from most of my other power supplies. Certainly on par with other budget power supplies. It's very close to a pro level supply. This hiss, right, it's all from here. Like that. I should also point out too that I am doing this wirelessly as well, so there may be some interference coming from there, but for the most part this sounds like what I would expect a power supply to sound like. We don't usually gauge power supplies based on their audio quality, but they are very clearly isolated. I'm not getting any crossplay kind of back and forth between them. I think even if we move this guy, just move it down the line here. Sorry about that ball noise there. There we go. So that's right side by side, and we have the same, exactly the same sound, right? But I mean, how cool? Sorry, how cool is this this light strip? I'm honestly, the reason I'm getting distracted is because I'm just looking and seeing like if I can make it peek out just with the guitar effects. So very, very cool. Let's go back and check this out, and we'll wrap up the video a little bit. So that was the Vangoa PD-M powered pedal board. Let me know what you think down in the comments. What did you think? Is this kind of a new direction that we're going to take with pedal boards? I think it is. I think it's very handy. I do know that a lot of the clients that I have like a modular power unit that they can move between boards. As well, if there turns out to be any issue, you only have to replace the power unit and not the entire pedal board. I will say that, you know, if anything were to happen, and I haven't heard any rumors of anything happening to that effect, but if anything were to happen, you do still have a very, very good pedal board that on its own costs less than most aluminum pedal boards. So it's already a better deal than a lot of boards that you're going to find online. The fact that it is powered and the fact that it does have all of those additional features to it, I think is just a really great bonus. And with all of these features in the bag and everything else, you really can't go wrong. My link to the Vangoa board and both the Canadian and American Amazon sites is down in the description. You can check that out. And please keep in mind that this channel is largely user-sponsored, user-funded, so do consider becoming a member of the channel. That will help to push especially more of the independent music reviews that I like to do that seem to be, you know, pretty popular. People seem to like when I kind of break down songs for indie artists and give them a little bit of extra exposure. So do consider becoming a member. And I don't know if you've been following on Facebook, but this space that I'm working in right now is going to go through a huge makeover in the new year. And because of that, you know, there's going to need to be some equipment bought, some parts and bits and pieces and things to flesh out the studio space. And right now, this part of the room that I'm sitting in right now is about 6 by 6. It's pretty small. And so in order to record anything on the desk, you're sitting on the desk right now. And in order to record anything on the desk, I have to clear off all of my video stuff, right? And then in order to shoot video, I have to get rid of the recording stuff and put the video stuff and the editing and whatever back on the desk. So it's not an ideal situation, and my workbench for doing setups and customs and all that is actually on the other side of the room. So that bench is going to move into this space. This desk is going to be part of a new desk rig, and we're going to do a lot of sound treatment in here. It's a little bit echoey, so we're going to do a bunch of sound treatment in here. So if you're interested in helping with that, there is a wish list down in the description as well for Amazon, and they'll just send whatever, you know, if you want to make a contribution to that process, it's down there. There's no, obviously, you don't have to. I'm just saying it's down there. I've made a list of the things that I need to buy. And it's there if you want to be a supporter of the channel, or you can just, as I said, sign up as a member, and you'll get kind of some background video, some behind the scenes footage of me turning what right now, if you could see it, believe me, I would be embarrassed, because it is just a disaster zone of mess on the other side of the room, on the other side of the camera here. And this is stuff that gets shuffled back and forth. So every time I set up for a video, I have to move a bunch of stuff out of the way, and then I have to move it back so that I can, you know, do my job. So that's what's going on there. So in the meantime, like I said, check out those links. Check out this pedal board on Amazon. It's pretty fantastic. Right now we're ahead of Christmas. This is a really great gift, so give that some consideration. And yeah, if you like this kind of content, remember to like and subscribe. Make sure that you are signed up for updates, and I will see you guys very soon.